You know, if you want to see the future of AI, you don't need some sci-fi crystal ball. Sometimes all it takes is looking at a single, absolutely chaotic 24-hour news cycle. So today we're going to unpack how one pretty remarkable day gave us the perfect snapshot of where AI is headed and just how fast it's all happening.
So what can really change in just one day? I mean, a lot of us would probably say, not much, right? But in the world of artificial intelligence, a single day can feel like a lifetime. The entire landscape can shift, from the global economy all the way down to the gadgets we use every single day.
So let's set the scene. The date was November 11th, 2025. On this one day, a total flurry of news gave us this incredible snapshot of the three major forces shaping our world right now: how businesses are using AI, how society is scrambling to control it, and the frankly mind-bending future it's creating. Let's start with the first force, the money.
All right, first up, let's talk business. For what felt like forever, AI was this thing stuck in a lab. Well, not anymore. It's officially reporting for duty and clocking in.
The news from this one day laid out this perfect ladder of how companies are adopting AI. At the very bottom rung, we saw new strategies finally starting to tackle the insane cost of AI, which is huge for making it accessible to smaller businesses. Take a step up, and you see big players like the insurance giant Unipol using tools like IBM's watsonx to automate their core operations. Then you get to the acceleration phase, with giants like Essity, Accenture, and Microsoft actually forming a supergroup, a real partnership just to roll out AI agents on a global scale. And at the absolute top of the ladder, an all-out war for talent. Case in point, Intel's top AI executive, Sachin Katti, jumping ship to go to OpenAI. This isn't theory anymore. This is AI getting hardwired into our economy, and it's happening right now.
And this really gets at the biggest shift of all. For the longest time, the whole conversation was about the underlying models, the super complex algorithms, the engine, right? But the new reality is that the real value is in the products, the apps that you and I can actually touch and use. So think less about the engine and more about the car itself, like OpenAI's Sora video app. The big takeaway here, the gold rush isn't happening in the lab anymore. It's in building real tools for real people.
Of course, when a technology this powerful moves this fast, it's never going to happen in a vacuum, right? The rest of the world is forced to respond. It's like they're trying to write the rulebook while the game is already being played at hyperspeed.
And believe me, these conversations are happening at the very highest levels. On this day, you had the U.S. Federal Reserve Governor Michael Barr talking about the profound implications of AI on, well, the entire global financial system. When the Fed starts using language like that, you know the stakes are incredibly high.
Which brings us right to that classic dilemma. We all know the phrase, with great power comes great responsibility. But what does that actually look like for AI? What happens when one of these incredibly powerful models just goes completely off the rails?
Well, we got a pretty scary, real-world test case on November 11th. Google had to scramble and pull one of its AI models because it just started producing false and really sensitive claims. It sparked this massive debate and was just a stark reminder that these systems still need a human in the loop. It really forces you to ask that critical question: how do we build guardrails for a technology that can, basically think for itself? And the response isn't the same everywhere. It's a global thing. India, which is just a total powerhouse in AI, unveiled its own regulatory plans. And what's so fascinating is they're not just copy-pasting what Silicon Valley or Europe is doing. Their approach is being shaped by their own unique national priorities and their huge young tech-savvy population. It's giving the world a whole new playbook for how you balance innovation with safety.
Okay, so you've got businesses racing to adopt AI, and you've got regulators racing to control it, both happening at the same time. But the third act of this crazy day, well, this is where things get really wild. This is about the future showing up way, way ahead of schedule, with some seriously high-stakes changes that affect all of us. The first bombshell was for consumers. A report dropped that Apple is giving Siri, get this, a full-on brain transplant. And they're using a custom version of Google's Gemini AI to do it. This is not some small update. It's a fundamental shift that promises truly advanced interactions, and it could totally reignite the race for the best virtual assistant. And did you catch that? The biggest rivals are now working together. Wild.
But the day's biggest story, the one that honestly puts everything else into perspective, it wasn't about a cool new product. It was a warning, and it came from the company at the very front of the pack.
OpenAI issued a global call to action.
They published a paper urging the world to create new measures to protect us from the catastrophic risks of future superintelligent AI. We're talking about everything from mass disinformation to autonomous systems we can't control. This wasn't some quiet little academic paper. This was a loud public warning from the creators of ChatGPT telling us we need to get serious about managing a technology they believe could be a monumental risk.
This, of course, leaves us with the ultimate question, the one that's kind of hanging over all of this incredible progress. Are we moving so fast that we're actually building something that we won't be able to control in the end? So, wow, that was a lot for one day. What on earth does all this mean? Let's try to take that chaos and distill it down to what really, truly matters. 3 really clear trends emerged. First, AI is going to work. It's not a theory anymore. It's a core business tool, and the race to implement it is officially on. Second, the world is responding. Governments, regulators, and all of us are trying to figure out how to set the rules. And finally, the stakes just keep getting higher. The whole conversation is shifting from simple apps to superintelligence and the very future we're all building together.
That single day in November showed us that AI isn't just one story. It's all the stories at once. Business, politics, ethics, and our collective future. The technology is moving at an absolutely breakneck speed. The only question left is, are we